The best ranked school districts in Indianapolis might not be the best place for you to live. So today we are going to count down the top 5 school districts in the Indy metro area according to niche, starting with number 5 and working our way to, of course, number 1. Hey there, I'm Geesaman, a local real estate agent here in the North Indy area. And on this channel, we talk about what it is really like to live in and around Indianapolis, especially Hamilton County and the northern suburbs. I did a version of this video a couple of years ago, but it definitely was time for a refresh. A lot has changed. Buyers are looking at different areas, prices have shifted, and some communities around Indy have grown like they found kind of a secret stash of development money behind a strip mall. Quick note before we jump in, school rankings are just one kind of data point. Every student is different, every family has different priorities, and you should always verify like the boundaries, the programs, the transportation, enrollment rules, and current district information directly with the school district. My goal here is not to tell you where your kids should go to school. My goal is to help you understand kind of the area around these districts so you can decide which community may actually fit your life. Coming in at number 5 on the niche list is Westfield-Washington Schools. And if you've been paying attention to the Indianapolis suburbs over the last several years, Westfield showing up here probably does not surprise you. Westfield has been one of the fastest growing and most talked about suburbs in the Indy area, especially in Hamilton County. But what makes Westfield interesting is that it still is very much in the middle of its kind of growth story. Carmel feels more established, Zionsville feels more tucked away and charming, but Westfield feels like a suburb that is still actively becoming what it is going to be. There is a lot of new construction, new commercial development, new restaurants, road projects, neighborhood growth, and of course, Grant Park, which has been a huge driver of attention for the city. From a housing standpoint, Westfield gives buyers a lot of options. You can find older homes closer to downtown Westfield, newer subdivisions, move up neighborhoods, luxury communities, golf course communities, and a lot of new construction homes as well. This is one of the big reasons buyers consider Westfield. If you want Hamilton County, but you also want a newer home or a little more room to breathe than what you might be able to find in some parts of Carmel, Westfield can be a very appealing location. Now, the lifestyle here is more suburban, more spread out, and still developing. You have Grant Park, you have local restaurants, trails, parks, and more amenities coming in, but depending on where you live, you may still be driving a little bit to places like Carmel, Fishers, or Noblesville for certain things. And of course, that's a trade-off, but Westfield has a lot of upsides, but growth is not always cute. So what growth means is it means construction. Growth means traffic patterns that are always changing. Growth means roads that sometimes feel like they were designed during a group project where no one kind of communicated. But for buyers who want newer houses, strong growth, and a suburb that still has room to evolve, Westfield makes a lot of sense. Now, coming in at number 4 is Brownsburg Community School Corp. Brownsburg is one of those areas that I think more people should understand, especially if they're relocating to the Indianapolis area and only looking north. Brownsburg is located west of Indianapolis in Hendricks County, and it offers a very different value equation than some of the northern suburbs do. It's not trying to be Carmel, and it's not trying to be Zionsville. It has kind of its own thing going on. Now, for a lot of buyers, Brownsburg offers a strong suburban lifestyle, good access to the west side of Indianapolis, and home prices that may feel more approachable compared to some of the more expensive northern suburbs. You will find established neighborhoods, newer subdivisions, parks, youth sports, local restaurants, and pretty convenient access to I-74. If you need to commute downtown to, say, the airport or to the west side, Brownsburg may be a very practical option. And it is one of the things I honestly like about Brownsburg. It is practical. It gives you suburban, but without always feeling like you're paying kind of a premium just to say you live in one of the big name North Indy suburbs. Now, does Brownsburg have the same polished downtown feel as Carmel? No. Does it have the brick street charm of Zionsville? Also no. But not every buyer needs that. Some buyers want space, convenience, a solid suburban feel, and a house that does not make their mortgage payment look like it belongs in a horror movie. Now, the trade-off here is location. If your life is centered around the north side, Brownsburg may feel disconnected. If your job, family, church activities, or social life are mostly in Hamilton County or the northeast side of Indy, that west side location may not make sense. But if the west side works for your life, Brownsburg is absolutely worth a look. Coming in at number 3 is the Town of Speedway. Now, this is probably the one that will surprise the most people. When people think about top-ranked school districts near Indianapolis, they usually think of the northern suburbs first, places that we talk about a lot: Carmel, Zionsville, Westfield, maybe even some other Hamilton County names. But Speedway is right there near the top of the niche list. So Speedway is very different from every other area in this top 5. This is not a sprawling suburban community filled with endless new construction neighborhoods. Speedway is smaller, more urban adjacent, and has a very distinct identity because of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Now, the town has its own personality. It is close to downtown Indianapolis, close to the west side, and has a more established, compact feel than places like Westfield or Brownsburg. Now, the housing stock is also very different. In Speedway, you are much more likely to find older homes, smaller lots, bungalows, ranches, and even established neighborhoods. You are not usually looking at giant master plan communities or brand new luxury subdivisions. And for some buyers, that is a good thing. Not everyone wants a new suburb. Some people want character, proximity to the city, a smaller community footprint, and a price point that may be more approachable than the, say, higher-end northern suburbs. Speedway can be especially interesting for, say, buyers who want access to Indianapolis but still want a defined community feel. It is not just West Side Indy. Speedway has its own identity, and that matters. Now, the trade-off is that Speedway will not feel like Carmel, Zionsville, or Westfield. So if you're looking for newer homes, big suburban retail corridors, large lots, or that very kind of polished North Indy suburb lifestyle, Speedway probably will not be your first choice. But if you want something more established, closer to the city, and a little different from your kind of typical suburban conversation, Speedway deserves some attention. Coming in at number 2, that's a 3. At number 2 is Zionsville Community Schools. Now, Zionsville is one of the most sought after communities in the Indianapolis area, and it has a very different feel from many other suburbs. If Carmel is polished and Westfield is growing, Zionsville is charming. It has that kind of small town, boutique, tucked away feeling that a lot of buyers love. The village of Zionsville is a big part of that appeal with brick streets, local shops, restaurants, coffee shops, and a downtown area that kind of feels very different from the typical suburban strip center setup. Now, Zionsville has a lot of natural beauty. You will find more wooded areas, mature trees, larger lots in some neighborhoods, and homes that feel a little more custom or unique depending on where you are looking. Housing in Zionsville can also range quite a bit. You have homes near the village, established neighborhoods, newer construction further out, estate-style properties, and some truly beautiful luxury homes. But Zionsville is not usually what I would call a budget-friendly option. In many cases, buyers are paying a premium for that charm and kind of the setting, the district, and the overall feel of the community. The lifestyle here is a little quieter and less commercial than some other suburban areas. That is part of the draw, honestly, but it can also be the trade-off. Depending on where you live in Zionsville, you may drive more for everyday shopping, sports, restaurants, or even certain amenities. It's not always as instantly convenient as Carmel or some of the more built-out suburbs, but for buyers who want charm, character, and a community that feels a little bit more tucked away, Zionsville is hard to beat. And coming in at number 1, no surprise on the niche list, is Carmel Clay Schools. Now, Carmel being at the top probably will not shock you, especially if you watched other videos on my channel, because Carmel has had a strong reputation for a very long time, not just locally, but also nationally. And so when people are relocating to the Indianapolis area and they start researching suburbs, Carmel almost always shows up. But again, this video is not just about the schools, it's about the area, and Carmel is one of the most established, polished, amenity-rich suburbs in the Indianapolis area, period. You have the Arts and Design District, Midtown, the Monon Trail, the Palladium, the Carmel City Center area, parks, roundabouts everywhere, restaurants, shopping, events, and a very intentional community design. Now, Carmel is one of those places where people move not only because of rankings, but because of the overall lifestyle. It is convenient, it is active, it has a lot to do, and it feels very put together. Now, from a housing standpoint, Carmel has a wide range, but it is also one of the more expensive markets in the area. You can find older ranches, established neighborhoods, townhomes, condos, luxury homes, custom homes, and some newer options, but affordability can be kind of challenging. One thing buyers need to understand is that not every home in Carmel is brand new and shiny. Some areas are older and may need updates, so you might get the Carmel location, but you might also get a kitchen that is still emotionally attached to 1998. Such a great year. The upside is location and convenience. Carmel gives you access to shopping, dining, trails, parks, events, and a strong overall suburban lifestyle. It is also fairly central within the northern suburbs, which can make it convenient if your lifestyle takes you to places like Indianapolis, Fishers, Westfield, Zionsville, or even Noblesville. The trade-off here is price. Carmel can be expensive, competitive, and in some areas, inventory can be very tight. You may have to compromise on home size, updates, lot size, or budget to get into the location you want. So, those are the top 5 school districts in the Indy metro area according to niche, starting with Westfield at number 5, then Brownsburg, Speedway, Zionsville, and Carmel at number 1. But the biggest takeaway is this: a ranking can tell you where to start your research. It unfortunately cannot tell you where you should live because these 5 areas are very different. Westfield gives you growth, newer homes, and momentum. Brownsburg gives you West Side value and a practical suburban lifestyle. Speedway gives you city access, older homes, and a unique small town identity. Zionsville gives you charm, trees, and a quieter village feel. And then Carmel gives you polished amenities, convenience, and one of the most established suburban lifestyles in the Indianapolis area. The right choice depends on your budget, your commute, your lifestyle, your housing needs, and what you want your daily life to actually look like. Once again, I'm Cameron Geesaman, your favorite Indianapolis YouTubing realtor. If you're thinking about moving to the Indianapolis area and say you're trying to compare these communities, reach out. My husband Adam and I help people do this all the time. We can help you look beyond the rankings and figure out which area actually makes sense for your life, your budget, and your long-term plans. Because picking a school district is important, but picking the right community around it is just as important. And sometimes that's the part the internet just does not explain very well. And if you want more videos like this, make sure you subscribe because I talk about the kind of real pros, cons, trade-offs, and local details of living in the Indianapolis and surrounding suburbs. And if you've made it this far, congratulations. You probably want to learn more about the Indy metro area. Click this video here as I think you'll like it. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.